Epistory is a rare breed of game, and an even rarer breed of RPG, because you have to type words to cast your attacks. It's Bastion meets Mavis Beacon teaches typing with a voice narrator, dungeon exploration, puzzles, a talent tree, treasures, collectibles, the list goes on. And at first I was a bit of a skeptic, given that this was, a typing game. But in literally no other action RPG will you find yourself typing bibliographic, scintillation, or lobectomy, or risk death and having to start the entire encounter from scratch. Unless of course you count Magicka, and you somehow combine these characters to form some kind of pronounceable word, but that's a stretch.
I can't do it.
Obi-Wan!
What is going on?
What is wrong with I'm down. W space before you go down.
Oh crap, oh god. Get him, Ash, get him.
I can't
Oh.
Once upon a time. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. There was a girl. And she rode upon the back of a great fox. But they were lost. They had always been lost. Until a path appeared. And so she followed.
Dun dun dun! Yeah! JEFI. This is the controls that they introduce you to initially. However, as you'll very, very quickly see, this is actually very difficult to do.
Leading her.
Is they will actually switch up to WASD. Easy peasy, just like that. So you could use WASD, or you could use whatever EFJI if you want. It's supposed to be there as it says there, so you can type words more easily.
All of a sudden, she knew where she was. She was home.
So now I've gone ahead and actually muted the voiceover there. That way we can just focus on some of the basic gameplay. I'm going to kind of skip ahead here and there and just show you random clips from my journeys. I've already beaten the game. And I actually went through and I beat the game to make sure that it wasn't complete garbage. Because it would suck if you spent all this time playing a game and then the end just completely blows. Especially a story-driven game. If it's like a platform or something like that, I don't really care so much, right? So here's the way it works. You have your little fox and little girl on the fox. You're a character who has lost her memories, of course. And you're basically, you're trying to figure things out. It's almost like a standard story. It's like, here's your protagonist, and she doesn't remember anything prior to this. Now we can build a story from there, right? We hear it all the time. But the way it works is we have Azalea, kind of like the porn star. Then we have Plumeria, Dogwood, Fony, and Ash. That is how you do your attacks. It says new zone ready to be revealed. Now this is actually probably one of the coolest things. Now, if you notice, everything has a very low poly look, and the reason being it's obviously very stylized. But the reason why is because everything is supposed to be built out of origami. Notice that every piece of paper, every tile is square, kind of like how an actual origami piece of paper would start square, not letter like you did in school. So here's how things unfold. And then while this is happening, the narrator is explaining, basically narrating everything you're doing, very much like Bastion. But there are two different voices that you hear. It's the same character, but it's like you're hearing a continuing kind of narrative of what your character is doing, and then you're also hearing like these flashbacks, these flashback memories right there. So who, what, where, why, what, right? So now let's go ahead and kind of just stroll over here real quick. It's very slow on the get-go, but eventually it picks up and you start flying through these areas. So here we go. Petal. Oops. Axe. Poppy. You'd imagine it's probably very difficult to type and narrate at the same time. Here you go. Upgrade. This is very, very, very important. Okay? Yeah, initially you're going to want to go ahead and put velocity. There's a lot of achievements that are unlocked behind combos. So you can probably put some of these in later, or maybe in a second playthrough, which is probably what I will do. But I'm going to go ahead and drop mine into velocity. Now your character simply moves faster. Big difference. And then there's also a sprint that comes along. And probably the most important, by a long shot the most important, is actually going to be there's an ability that allows you to, whenever you hit space like this, it draws a little line, kind of like a race line or something. Something that tells you like where to go for your next quest. I can't tell you how many times I've come back in to play after, you know, taking a night off or something like that and been completely lost because I don't know exactly where I'm at. And the map is not necessarily the most, it helps, but also at the same time, it's kind of in a weird, it's got a weird angle to it. Notice that there's it's like rotated like 45 degrees because you're isometric, right? So it takes a little getting used to. So this says I need more inspiration points. I need 2,000 in order to get it. So that's the bottom there. 415 is what I have out of 2,500. I need 2,000 for to unlock that one. 2,500 to get to the next level. Pretty basic stuff, right? Talent trees and all that good stuff. Ah, here we go. That thing is gibberish right now because I do not have a special ability to unlock it. Ah, trunk, however I could do. Eureka I could do. A miracle I could do. Money I could do. And we've unlocked this game. I mean, this game is basically breaking it down for me. This is great. There we go. It's a massive boost in inspiration points. Let's see if I could find another one of those somewhere around here. Maybe some enemies. Yep. Here we go. Another one. Gibberish. She dare not cross the fragile flocks. See, lots of present-based current events, current happenings. She would have to burn, of what's happening. Repackaged. Expendable. Prestige. Oops. There you go. This is another important part here. Oops, no, that wasn't what I was looking for. New upgrade. Sprint. That's the next thing you want to get. I think that's pretty obvious. Okay. New zone ready to be revealed. So now we got to find that right there. That little plot. We're going to go and plop our ass on it. And then we get another beautiful unfolding of the world. Look at this. And fire fell from the sky. Chapter 1. Signal fires. Yeah. And then the bridge unravels. And then we can move forward. And we have sprints, so we can actually move right onto our first encounter plate. So here we go. It's probably actually really easy. Well, actually, I have it on hard, I think, but it's the first encounter, so they probably take it easy on you. Also got to note, fantastic music. I'll show you actually probably a little collage here coming up, or montage. A really, really great themes they have for each individual dungeon. Yes, there are dungeons. Nice. Now I have, let's see, I have loads of points here. And everything counts, right? Everything. Every piece you see like that. So if you see a branch right there, just hit it. Hit it, get those combo points going. See in the bottom right there? 35. We keep that combo counter going. You could apply talents to make it last a little bit longer if you want. I'm actually running out of, let's see, stone. Boom. Let's see if I can get some more. Keep this counter rolling. Oh, nah. We tried. All right, let's go and hop into our first dungeon here. I'll give you guys a brief tour of this, and then we're going to cut it off because everything else after this is pretty much a spoiler. So, now the game it's going to last the average person, they say 6 to 8 hours. Everyone's saying that it took them about 6 hours or so. It took me 5, only because I got the talent halfway through. I should have got it early on. The talent that shows you where to go on the overworld map. It changes everything. It makes navigating so much easier. You basically stop doing aimless exploring, and you start actually making progress. Whoop. Now there are different. Oh, come on. There you go. There are different difficulty levels and an adaptive difficulty level, which what I have it on right now. And we'll go. Oh, it's on medium. Oh, because it's adaptive. That's why. Let's turn that off. Get hard, son. Let's do this. Okay, I don't know which way to go. There's one more thing I want to show you. I'm sure I could probably find it here somewhere. Very, very important. It's part of the collectibles aspect. Here we go. whatever that is. Nope. Then we're gonna come up here, take out. Oh, never mind. We're not gonna take him out at all. We're just gonna keep moving. Let me go around this. Make our way through here. Yep. So I will say that the ending was satisfactory. As you saw right back there 2 seconds ago over here on the landing, there was a text, and the character voice is a little girl, and she's saying, "Daddy, look." And so as you're progressing, you're unlocking all of these different events and everything that are happening, and you have to make sense of them. There's no real choices necessarily. You're just kind of, making it happen. You're just progressing. But I had to continue going. I had to beat the game first before I did any for breakfast on it, because if the ending sucked completely, I would not have recommended the game at all. Or I would have said, hey, it's a really nice typing game. That's it. But no, it's not. The ending was satisfactory, in my opinion. So right over here, there should be a chest. Oh no, that's right. There's this. And here we go. This is our first ability. Our first skill. And it basically ignites things. Now you're able to use and unlock other areas because of this. And that's how the game allows you to progress. Everything from gaining inspiration points, and then, of course, using inspiration points to jump on those pads that reveal more of the world, and also using different types of skills to unlock certain types of gates or certain types of abilities that can be activated and trigger certain events. And everything, the way it progresses is actually really, really good. And it makes total sense. So here we go. Fragments. You find a collectible fragment. Press tab to see it. So there you go. This is the first fragment. And it introduces them in layers. So as I get more, then I get more of the picture. And each picture just basically depicts a scene that you are... How do I do this without spoiling anything? It's important. It's funny. Nothing is really compelling about what's happening. Everything seems a little mundane. The story, the narrator is just telling you what's going on, why you're doing it. Occasionally get these little, there's a little voice that says something, something that seems like you're almost having like a flashback or something, and then ultimately you end up putting everything together and figuring out what is going on, and that is where the climax of the entire game comes into play. Right there. We'll be friends now. I'll look after you. I promise. Alright, volcanic. Now we've unlocked a gate. This is what I mean about triggered events. And there are so many. So many different types of puzzles and events that you can activate and you can go through. And you would think that at some point they would run out, but then they would introduce a new mechanic, and that mechanic would then apply to a new type of puzzle, as much as, several hours into the game. And then here we go. We'll set this up as our final. Now wait, does it have to have the burn on? No, I don't. Oh yeah, there it goes. You notice how the fire is burning through the second word there? It allows you to manage some of your fights a little bit more easily. So for example, with that doll, Hump is going to slowly burn away. And that's something you can actually spec into to make burn away faster. Because notice he's still progressing, right? So go fry, and then you watch N slowly burn away until it's gone. So if you have a lot of guys coming at you, you can just sit there and just go boom, luck, okay, folk, dawn, let that burn, wait for the next one, and that's it, see? Imagine when you get to the point where you have several different types of spells you're going through and you're actually having to switch between them in order to activate them. That's when things get pretty hairy and pretty crazy. And there you go. Nothing could stand in her way now. And then you would take your character out. Actually, you explore this a little bit more because there's actually more to discover inside of this particular bin. Hits. There we go. Let's go and pop this open right here. Fire, intensity, perseverance. And then you can just type in what you want. So fire, there, spec into that, just like that. Now the next word burns faster. And that's it. This is what I've shown you is essentially the core of the game. There's so much more to it, though, and there's so much more to explore. There's so much to explore. There's so many collectible items, all the individual artifacts and collectible pieces, the paintings. They all come together to a satisfying ending. Definitely a satisfying ending. The game itself is probably one of my favorite games this year because it doesn't play at all like anything else. It's very stylized and it looks great. The music is great. The voiceover is great. The fact that you're typing words, all these different words to destroy enemies makes me feel like I'm crafting a spell unique to that one attack for that one enemy. And it makes it very challenging because sometimes you have an off day. Sometimes you just can't type for shit. You just can't do it. And that's when the game becomes even more challenging. Or you can, of course, kick on the adaptive difficulty and have it kick it down for you. But the game does get pretty tough. And there are situations where you're going to find yourself stressing out over typing out a word that you would never use anywhere else other than this game. And that's what makes Epistory exciting and unique. It also has an arena mode where you just sit here and basically horde mode, type words forever, and get leaderboards and all that good stuff. It's okay. And that is Epistory Typing Chronicles, currently available on Steam for $14.99. Definitely worth the price. This is Indie for Breakfast. My name is Mike B, aka Fony, and let me get my shout-outs out of the way. Thank you so much. If it wasn't for these guys, we would not be able to continue doing this. So, Swirly Narz, Inferno 256, Zachysaurus, PeterJMWilliams, Nobodywar, Bad Life, Shrimpaycheck, Elusive Elephant, Varlun, Mr. Smith, Mythicgriffon, Kittens, Trom, Kenzorb, Alex S, Joey.A, Skyform, Liam Walsh. Thank you so much to those guys, and of course everybody credited below. My name is Mike B, aka Fony, Indie for Breakfast, Epistory Typing Chronicles. See ya.